This is part 2 of a Yixing teapot demonstration. Zhu Jiang Long will be demonstrating his techniques on finishing up the lid area and working on a knob. Here he is using a compass type of cutting tool, which is adjustable to change the circumference of the circle, and he's cutting out that extra piece of clay there. He is now going to actually work on the bottom of the piece and hone up with a smooth stone, almost a right angle on it, to make the foot rim and work that foot rim a little bit further. And then this is a piece of plastic. It's a plastic tool that he's further burnishing down that area. And then he's using a chamois to even further finish that. He's using a curved, flexible piece of plastic to get the curve on the handle and to burnish that area down here. Every little detail on this piece is thought about. All the areas of the piece are touched and manipulated to give a nice polished surface on the skin of the teapot. He's put it on this form that goes up inside there and creates a hard surface on the inside so he can stamp his signature stamp from the outside. So he's lined that up here and gently tap, 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 tap. And he has an idea of when it's going to be actually seen. Sometimes he'll have to put it back on and gently place it back in the same spot to finish off the signature. He's cleaning up the holes here with this bent tool. It's got a right angle at the end, and you see how the point of the tool comes out. You can get in there and finish off those strainer holes on the inside of the teapot behind the spout. Showing some other tools there. He's working the edge of the interior where the flange of the lid is going to sit and seat the lid. Some real good examples of tools there. The tools are made out of metal, wood, and plastic, and sometimes buffalo horn. This is a metal knife that he's honing up some of those areas that compass had cut out a nice form. And here is Gao Yingzi, who is Zhu Jiang Long's wife and partner, and she's showing one of her lids from one of her teapots, and showing that bent piece of bamboo in the beginning, and talking about the form and how to press upon a actual clay mold. There's a piece of clay that she's used to create the dome of the teapot. And there's some of hers in there in the damp box, which is a pot filled with clay, and the clay is kept wet through that hole in the middle. You see all these little added attachments like spouts and handles in there that are staying wet indefinitely. They can stay wet. Here's a lathed piece of wood that is used to hone up and alter and smooth down that interior area where the lid's going to sit. And here he is showing the lid going on. It's a little tight, too tight. They want it to be really tight, but obviously they want the lid to sit down and seat well on the shoulder of that little neck that's on the teapot there. And so he's going to hone up the flange on this teapot with this metal tool. And see how there's a sharp edge on that metal tool? There's an angle there. He's actually carving off little amounts of clay and pulling off a little at a time, and he's going to go check it again, and he's going to eventually burnish down that area too. But as you see, he's taking a lot of time just working on that area so he gets it just right, so it has an exact fit for him. He's checking it here again. When he's turning it here, after he's carved a little off with that metal tool, as he turns it, there will be an area that gets kind of burnished, and he can see where he needs to trim a little bit more away with that tool, whether it be on the lid or on the pot itself, as he's doing right now. So he sees a little burnished area on there, and he's trimming that area away. Right now he's discussing these issues about fit of the lid and how craftsmanship issues that have to come into play. Now he's gotten the lid to fit really well, and he's really happy about that, so he's working on the knob now. He's chosen where it is. He already made the knob. He's going to work the knob a little more, but he's going to score and slip. Now it's scored and slipped, and he's working the knob on the interior because he doesn't want this solid knob. He wants the air to go through that knob and be an area for the airflow to allow the teapot to pour well, so there's not a vacuum created by that tight lid. So this hole that he's making there flows through the knob and into the hole that's in the middle of the teapot too. And he's finishing off some of the linear elements on the surface of the knob before he attaches it, just by rocking the tool. And he wants this flow of movement around that form as it flows around the surface of his pot also. You can see he's got this really small curve on that plastic. So he slipped, he scored both pieces, put it on, and there's this slip oozing out there. And that good squish is something that he's going to remove eventually. He's showing a finished piece here. It's not fired yet, but showing that's a different kind of lid where it sits in and actually has a little registration notch. It only fits one way, whereas the other one we just saw him make actually spins. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation of Zhu Jiang Long. Look for the next presentation on factory work in Dingshan and Yisheng.